If you want a Bluetooth speaker that fits in the palm of your hand but sounds like you're standing in the middle of a nightclub, you've come to the right video, because today we're checking out the 8 most powerful small speakers you can buy right now. I've ranked them from lowest to highest power, so stick around until the end to find out which small speaker is the most powerful one on the market. Kicking off this top 8, we have the JBL Grip in the number 8 spot with 16 watts of power. It's a great option if you want an ultra-light and compact speaker with good sound quality from a top-tier brand. It's literally about the size of a soda can and weighs just over 380 grams, so it easily fits into any backpack pocket without you even noticing it's there. With 16 watts, you're obviously not going to be throwing a music festival with it, but for listening to your favorite songs while you're cooking, taking a shower, or bringing it to the beach, it gets the job done with room to spare, thanks to its 43 by 80mm driver and JBL Pro sound system. It delivers solid audio for its size. It also features AI Sound Boost, which analyzes your music in real time to squeeze out more volume without adding as much distortion. That's not something you usually see in a speaker this small, but where it really stands out is durability. It has an IP68 rating, meaning it can handle full immersion in water, and JBL says it can survive drops from up to 1 meter onto concrete, something very few speakers this size are willing to promise. And through the JBL Portable app, you can customize its 7-band equalizer and even personalize the ambient light built into the back. That's a feature you don't see on many speakers. The downside is that we're still talking about 16 watts, so this isn't the speaker for anyone looking for maximum volume or extreme punch. It's more about sound quality and portability. Still, if 16 watts isn't enough for you, don't worry, because the next speaker takes things up a notch. Coming in at number 7, we have the surprise of this list, the Dotn M17, a 25-watt speaker that I've personally tested, and honestly, it surprised me in a really good way. Even though it's from a relatively unknown brand, it packs some pretty impressive features for the price. You get dual speakers with dual bass drivers, Bluetooth 5.4, IPX7 certification to protect it from accidental drops into water, TWS pairing so you can connect 2 units together, and up to 30 hours of battery life. That's a number that many speakers from much bigger brands can't match. From my experience, I can tell you that for a 25-watt speaker, it definitely doesn't feel underpowered. It performs really well indoors, and outdoors, it holds its own pretty well too. That said, there's one design detail that could be better. It doesn't have rubber supports on the sides, so you can really only place it vertically. If you try laying it horizontally, the speaker can easily roll away. Another thing that makes it stand out is the inclusion of an auxiliary input, USB, and a trans flash card slot, so you can listen to music without relying on Bluetooth. That's something you rarely see on a speaker this size. It also features RGB lighting that you can customize to your liking. And one more detail that surprised me is the built-in equalizer. With the press of a single button, you can activate bass boost mode and get a much stronger low-end punch. Still, if 25 watts isn't enough for you, or you'd rather go with a more established brand, stay tuned, because you're going to love the next one. At number 6, we have the Motorola ROKR 600, a 30-watt speaker that's perfect if you want something you can take pretty much anywhere without making things complicated. Inside, it uses dual passive radiators to reinforce the bass and delivers true stereo sound through its 2 separate channels, something you don't see on every speaker this size. It features Bluetooth 5.3 with a range of up to 10 meters, an IP67 rating for protection against both dust and splashes, and it puts a major focus on its broadcast feature, which lets you synchronize more than 20 units simultaneously. That means you can put together an impressive, completely improvised sound system almost anywhere, whenever you want. As for the design, it's pretty understated, with physical controls and a small strap for hanging it up. Perfect if you want to carry it around without any hassle. But it's not all good news, because its biggest weakness is definitely the battery. According to Motorola's own specifications, you get around 6 hours of continuous playback, which is significantly less than almost every other speaker on this list. Moving on to number 5, we have the JLab JBuds Party with 30 watts of power. It's a great option if you like speakers with RGB lighting and want the freedom to customize it pretty much any way you want. Inside, it packs 2 2.5-inch full-range drivers along with 2 2-inch passive radiators, giving it a very noticeable bass boost for its class. One of its biggest strengths is the RGB lighting, which is fully customizable through the JLab app and is perfect if you want the speaker to be the visual centerpiece of the party. It also features Lab Sync, which lets you sync up to 100 speakers at once or configure 2 units as left and right channels for true stereo sound. The 5,000 mAh battery provides more than 12 hours of continuous playback with the lights turned off and a little over 10 hours with RGB enabled. That's a pretty decent battery life considering how much power those lights use. You also get Bluetooth 5.4, a built-in microphone for calls, and a physical wheel on top for adjusting the volume. That's a really nice touch compared with all the touch-sensitive buttons you see on so many other models. On the downside, its IP56 rating means it handles splashes and light rain well, but it's not designed to survive accidental immersion, so you'll need to be a little more careful around water. And then there's the weight. Despite its compact size, it weighs more than 3 pounds, so we can't exactly call it the most convenient speaker to carry over long distances. At number 4, we have the ULT Field 1 from the famous brand Sony. It's a great option if you want high sound quality from a top-tier brand. As is often the case with our friends at Sony, there isn't an official wattage figure listed in the specifications. However, different authorized retailers report around 30 watts of actual power, so you shouldn't find yourself short on volume. What Sony does officially list is an 83 by 42 mm woofer and a 16 mm tweeter. And, as you'd expect, its biggest signature feature is the ULT button, which instantly activates the boosted bass mode from Sony's ULT Power Sound lineup, completely changing the personality of the speaker with a single press. Another big advantage is its size and weight. It weighs just 650 grams and measures a little over 20 centimeters, so it easily fits into a backpack and you may barely notice you're carrying it. It also features Bluetooth 5.3, SBC, and AAC codecs for high-quality audio, an IP67 rating that protects it against water, dust, and impacts, plus resistance to salt water, and up to 12 hours of battery life per charge. On top of that, it has a hands-free calling feature with echo cancellation for better quality calls. However, there's one potential downside you should know about. If you run ULT mode at maximum for a long time, you may notice some distortion in the more demanding bass frequencies. Opening up the podium, at number 3 we have the Xiaomi outdoor speaker with 30 watts of power, another model I've personally tested, and one I think is ideal if you're looking for one of the best price-to-performance ratios in this entire ranking. Its 30 watts of power are split between a 20-watt main driver and a 10-watt secondary driver, giving it a signal-to-noise ratio of at least 80 decibels. It also features dual passive bass radiators, automatic equalization, and dynamic bass extension, so it delivers plenty of volume despite its compact size. When it comes to the design, it's true that there's no RGB lighting, but this Xiaomi does have rubber supports on the sides, so you can place it either vertically or horizontally without worrying about it rolling away. For connectivity, you get Bluetooth 5.4 with a range of up to 25 meters, the ability to pair up to 100 speakers together, and a true outdoor mode when connecting 2 units. The 2,600 mAh battery provides around 12 hours of playback at 50% volume, which is decent but not exactly impressive compared with some of the other models on this list. It also includes a microphone for calls, and call quality is actually pretty good. However, even though it carries an IP67 rating and really can handle immersion in water, as I personally tested at the time, I'd still avoid putting it in water because it's not technically a submersible speaker. That said, don't worry about splashes because it handles those perfectly fine. Still, if 30 watts is not enough for you, stay tuned because now we're getting into the most powerful small speakers on the market. Taking the silver medal in second place, we have the Marshall Emberton III, a 38-watt speaker that's perfect if you value design, build quality, and power above everything else. With this speaker, our friends at Marshall have once again done what they do best: take their classic guitar amplifier aesthetic and put it into a rectangular speaker that makes an impression the second you see it. Inside, it features a single 2-inch full-range speaker with 10 watts of power, along with 2 passive radiators and 2 Class D amplifiers that, according to Marshall's own specifications, bring the total output up to 38 watts, quite a bit more than its predecessor. The result is a very balanced sound with dynamic loudness, meaning it adjusts the tone as you increase the volume, so it sounds incredibly good whether you're playing background music or pushing it all the way. That said, keep in mind that because it uses a single main transducer instead of multiple speakers, its perceived maximum volume isn't quite as intense as what you get from larger configurations. So don't buy this expecting a bass cannon. Think of it more as a refined, carefully tuned speaker. It features Bluetooth 5.3, an IP67 rating for water and dust resistance, and nearly 32 hours of battery life, making it one of the best performers in this top when it comes to battery life. It also includes a built-in microphone for calls and compatibility with the Marshall Bluetooth app for basic adjustments. However, even though it does have an equalizer, it's not as comprehensive as what you get on some of the other models on this list, so keep that in mind if EQ customization is really important to you. And finally, taking the #1 spot with the gold medal, we have another speaker from Marshall, the Middleton II. It's the ideal option if you want the best of the best and don't want to worry about the budget, because this is the most powerful small speaker on this entire list, delivering no less than 80 watts of power. It's true that it's slightly larger than the rest of the speakers here, pushing the limit of what we'd call small. But if you want maximum power, you can't really expect an ultra-compact speaker at the same time. Inside, it packs 3-inch woofers with 30-watt amplifiers for each one, 2 0.6-inch tweeters with 10-watt amplifiers, and passive radiators that further reinforce the bass punch. All of that adds up to a total output of 80 watts, far more than any other model we've looked at in this video. As you'd expect from Marshall, it features true stereophonic technology for an immersive 360-degree sound experience that surrounds you wherever you are. You can also adjust the bass and treble directly from the touch controls on top without ever opening an app. When it comes to durability, it has an IP67 rating and can handle immersion in up to 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes, so it's built to survive everything from a muddy festival to a day by the pool. Battery life is another major strength, with more than 30 hours of playback, fast charging that gives you 5 more hours of music after just 20 minutes, and a replaceable battery, something very few speakers at this price point offer, and a feature that gives it a much longer lifespan in the long run. It can also work as a power bank to charge your phone or another device, and it has a built-in microphone. The downside, as we mentioned at the beginning, is the size and weight. It weighs more than 3 pounds, so it's definitely not the lightest speaker in this top. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.